All right. Hello, everyone. Auto routing repo. So today I'm going to do some docs, and then I'm going to record some videos to help people get started with the repo. Um, the goal is anybody should be able to make an auto router. Um, and I'm not saying anybody should make an auto router in TypeScript or JavaScript or whatever. I want people to just make more auto routers. I think it could be fun and give us pretty good results because despite being a many decades old problem, because of how difficult it is to get started, I think. And a lot of people don't do it. So, what I'll show on the stream and in the videos I record during the stream is that you can create an auto router in probably like 4 minutes with our auto routing dataset repo. Um, so I'll show that a little bit later. And yeah, 4 minutes sounds crazy, but it's totally doable. I might make some slight tweaks to the onboarding of this repo to make it a little bit better. But yeah, that's what we're up to. I'm going to be writing some docs. I might even be quiet from time to time during the stream because when I'm cutting videos, I cut on silence sometimes. So, uh, especially while I am recording the actual tutorial videos that are going into this repo, um, I might be quiet for some sections and not say anything. So we'll see how it goes. Complexity, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. Um, Another random note, and I'll say this before I record, but like right now I'm not recording a tutorial video. I'm getting ready to record, and then I'll record for like 10 minutes. While I'm recording, I probably won't look at chat just because it's weird to people watching a tutorial if somebody's talking to chat. But outside of that, super happy to talk and would actually love it if people were like, that sucks. But you know, the usual banter. Um, so the plan roughly, I was writing a script and then I was like, some of the script could go into the getting started guide. And there are kind of two sections I want to do. Creating a new auto router and then creating new synthetic data sets. And I'm roughly going to call this part one, part two. They're both really important. But I think those will be the two videos I make. I was going to do a third or a kind of like a, yeah, I guess we could call it a part three. Um, and it would be running benchmarks and understanding uh, auto routers. So I could go over some fundamentals of auto routing. Yo, what up, Pratyush? How's it going? Appreciate you guys coming online. Funnest thing about streaming is you get totally different people depending on the time of the day. Well, I'll do a quick shout out in the Discord and tell people that I am also contributing. You're contributing. What's your GitHub username? Do you mean you've already contributed or you're looking to contribute? Either is good. We just had our contributor meeting yesterday, which is an optional like show up if you want to kind of meeting, but I got to meet a lot of new contributors, so that was cool. Okay, now streaming. Boom. Okay. And now the Discord knows. I feel like I'm really bad at Discord. Oh, look at this. I implemented a download circuit JSON button. Multiple people are working on this, which is like a little bit. Oh, but Absi did it right. Absi did it correctly. I feel bad for uh, Daria because definitely a you snooze, you lose situation. Oh, wait. Is this right? Ooh, it's wrong. It's wrong. Can you avoid using use run TSX? it's a very expensive hook, and the circuit JSON should be computed elsewhere. This is not supposed to be a hard PR, and multiple people have stumbled on this. I think it's because people don't realize React hooks. Oh, this is kind of crazy too. Um, C comment, use run TSX is pretty expensive. I would also recommend the file saver module from Dars PR. You could also implement a different download format to avoid conflicts. As usual, post to the Review Me channel if you're looking to contribute. Very cool. Well, yeah, jump right in. If you go to our blog, blog.tscircuit.com, we have a guide, and in that guide are tutorial videos. So you can actually watch videos that will show you how to contribute to different repos. And we're recording some videos today that'll probably be added to this guide. So yeah, please give it a go. Contribution, and yeah, definitely recommend that blog post. Nice. Cool. And by the way, Absi and Daria, if you're on here, like, I know it sucks when people are competing on an issue, because I know multiple people are doing the download circuit JSON, but from my perspective, like, we just got to get that in, like, so whoever gets it first, that if I waited for contributors to, like, do what they said they were going to do, we would ship 4 PRs a month. I'm not even joking. Yeah, I think, like, it's fine, especially for PRs that are small. It's different when somebody's like, oh, I'm implementing some huge feature, and then maybe you don't want to have conflicting people. But more often than not, there's more to coding than just the code. More often than not, actually implementing it or trying to implement it yourself, even if 2 people try to implement the same thing, they both learn a lot in that process about how it should be done, and they actually understand each other's code and the decisions as a result. So it's not a bad thing to have competing PRs for the same feature. It can be, but in this setting, it's definitely not. I will be aware when it is an issue. It'll be for bigger things, and people will be arguing, and it's like a thing, because, like, it's like a big architecture decision. We're not at that stage. All right, creating a new autorouter. I wrote a little bit of a script. So this we'll do in the video. How this repo works, we'll do that in the video too. Creating a new autorouter. You can create a new autorouter in minutes. So we're going to create an autorouter just to test, to make sure that what I'm going to show in the video I know how to do. So the structure of the repo is so here are some tips. The algos repo, the algos directory has all the algorithms. Run the project with bun run start. I think I did that over here. So does this actually work? Okay, cool. So we can run the project. Oh, I wonder if a video is better if I could do screenshots. I kind of want to do a video though. Just popping through here. Yeah, so running the project's pretty easy. It's still good to have in here. And go to, yeah, exactly. We can link this too. So the only thing I don't remember is I don't think we dynamically load algorithms right now. So they won't appear in the dropdown by default. So I want to see if I can make the experience a little bit better. Like the issue is you copy this algorithm template directory, my new algorithm. But then this isn't going to get run automatically. So there's two things I can do. One is I can try to run it automatically, which is probably the best case. Like it just shows up in this menu. Oy. How hard is that to do? I don't know if that's possible. So the start script runs build and serve. So what does build and serve do? npm run build. Okay. So vite build. That's going to be the front end. Bun hot module cli.ts. Okay. cli.ts. And then we need to figure out where this gets its list of algorithms for that dropdown. I think it's just a bunch of exports. Let's see, autoroute. Get dataset generator. I know I had a different way of doing this where you could like run it for an algorithm. Yeah, maybe we do that. Maybe that's not so bad. This will use all the existing algorithms. Copy the directory into a new directory to get started. Run, bun run, algos, my algorithm slash server.ts to start your algorithm development server. I think that's how it works. Let's try it. Bun run algos slash my algorithm. I think I called it my new algorithm slash server. Yeah, my algo. Okay. And then it doesn't do anything right now. So actually I was talking to Shibo and he wanted to develop autorouters. So I'm just like improving the documentation. Honestly, the README for autorouting is really good. It's probably one of the best READMEs. It has a table of contents. It's pretty good. So I don't think it necessarily needs videos, especially because, like, honestly, it is kind of tough to build autoroute. I don't know. Maybe people will surprise me. But like, thing to keep in mind is like I was really going hard working on algorithms. I spent like a month or two on them, and that's how we got where we are. I think, but I don't know. Maybe people will surprise me. It's not like I don't mind introducing a lot of algorithms to this as long as they're not redundant. Like if you try something new, you can definitely, throw it in here. There's no harm in it, but it is kind of tricky. I feel like I don't know. I it's like it's something that you can definitely do. It's just going to take a lot of your time. And because our auto router kind of works, I'm not 100% sure it's the highest ROI. Like, all right, I guess what I'm saying is if somebody wants to work on it, I'll help them, but I would probably not recommend anybody do it. Like, even for snippets, for example, the PRs aren't too hard. But still, like, it can be discouraging if you don't merge something. With auto routing, you could be working for a week and not be able to get a merge. I usually people can get a PR daily if they especially like in a day. I do on average, I think I do on a week where I'm like frequently PRing, I do quite a few. And I get to merge, right? I don't have people blocking my PRs, so that's also a factor. But even then, like, usually one a day is pretty reasonable. One merge a day. Some of my PRs are pretty big too. I also try to work on the hardest. Generally, the two areas where I try to work on are hardest problems and onboarding, and also like bootstrapping. So if a project needs to get started, that's where I usually choose to work. And that's so that we move as fast as possible. It's not like my preference. um to start your algorithm development server. I guess I'll also say you can also copy other algorithms and extend them. Copy other algorithm directories. I think that's good. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with that. Do I have enough to make a video? What are your thoughts about Dino 2.0? Yeah, I mean, pretty cool. I really like Dino. I didn't like how they didn't have npm compatibility. That was one of my biggest things. And then my other thing that bothered me was running tests in Dino. I didn't like the developer experience running tests. I thought they gave really bad test errors. I don't know if they fixed that in Dino 2.0, but I'll be trying it out. I'll probably try it out when it comes to Homebrew. I'm not gonna rush it, but yeah, it's a good project. It's a really good project. I mean, I'm happy to see it. I'm worried because we do build into Bun a little bit. We use Bun test. I think what would happen if we migrated to Dino is we would no longer use standard test suite test fixtures. That's one scenario. One scenario is we don't use standard test suite test fixtures. We would switch to something like Vitest, which is neutral to runtime. The other thing we might do if we were to migrate is you can actually alias in Dino and in Bun probably. Nah, maybe not. But in Dino, you can definitely alias. So we could make Bun test actually import something else. So we could use that to shim our Bun repos and hopefully not refactor too much. But I'll say it is worrisome, because we are so built into Bun, and Dino is arguably a much more mature project. So it definitely is like, it's not so obvious now which to choose. The thing that Dino has is smaller and probably more reliable binaries. They really focused on that. They also have the V8 engine, which in the long term, V8 might be faster than what Bun uses, which is JavaScript core. That might honestly just determine it at the end of the day. And the advantage of Bun versus Dino is basically baked into the languages they chose to run the runtime in. Like Rust might be a good long-term bet, but a bad short-term bet, and Zig might be a good short-term bet, but a bad long-term bet. I don't know if anybody knows the answer to that, but yeah, we'll follow along. We got to use the most popular thing right now. Bun is growing faster, I believe. I don't have the exact stats on this, but I believe Bun is growing faster, and Dino is has more active users but isn't growing as fast. Um, so I wouldn't say it's completely obvious. I think Jared is looking for ways to make Bun really unique with some features, but we probably won't use them if he deviates too far. 2.1 will be LS. What is LS? Long support. Mm. Yeah, that might be the one then that we really look at. I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Even how Dino releases is more mature than Bun. Yeah. But you know, like other than the binary issue, I don't know. I'd really have to play with these things because the limitations of Bun and Dino, when you're in the nitty gritty, you do start to see them. So like for example, when I'm building binaries, I like with Bun, I really struggled to embed binaries, and I also struggled with Dino. They both did it kind of bad and had things on their roadmap to improve it. I needed to do stuff where I needed to like transpile on the fly because I wanted to be able to import TS circuit files into our TS circuit CLI, and when it's packaged as a binary. And that's something that neither of them really supported, but has huge potential for TS circuit because it means that instead of saying, "Oh, you use Bun, you use Dino," we would say, uh, you know, you use TS circuit. We like the runtime wouldn't matter. We're packaging a binary and you run your code with that binary. And so we would choose Bun or Dino, but nobody would really care. And as far as like, you know, is this like a hard fork or something like that? No, we'd probably pay that project for support. It'd probably be a contract or something like that if we got to that level and TS circuit was actually making money. C Films, what up? I don't know if you were this guy, but I remember you as somebody who was. Were you the guy forever ago who spammed? I like put up a server and you spammed it with. Am I remembering this wrong? And you spammed it with like huge gigabyte video files. I like there was a service where you could upload a file. Am I like barely remember this, and Twitch isn't gonna have the VOD. The ceiling is up above me. What does that mean? Oh my gosh. The characters. Man, live streaming for many years is fun because you kind of have characters and sagas and stuff like that. Although most of my streams are just kind of coding. I don't think you could pull out a memorable thing from most of my streams. um but I do remember that one. Somebody DDoSed a server I was building, and I was like, guys, stop. I know it's not perfect. I'm just doing it for fun. That was fun. It's horrible, but fun. So that works. I think if we make it hot, that will give us hot reloading. So let's just test that out. Bun run hot. I like film. Do you like films or do you like film as in the, you know, the material? I guess the other thing that would be good to test. So I said you could create an autorouter in 4 minutes. Got to go. I will look more into the download buttons and take a look at file saver. Yeah, you could look at Darya's PR because you guys both have the same issue where you keep running the TSX, which is very expensive. But you know, I think everything else in Darya's is correct. You both actually have elements that each other need. So, but the running of the TSX is too much. I do not know about your video server. Okay, sounds like I'm getting you mixed up with somebody else. C Films is a great username though. Advice for juniors or students? I don't know. You know, find a project, work on it, contribute to open source. See ya. All right, so how you make an autorouter in minutes is there's an AI guide, and you literally paste this in to an engine, and then you say you're implementing an autorouter in TypeScript that matches the interface below, and then you can kind of describe what you want. So implement a oh, maybe you're a bot. I'm a knowledge and enthusiast on movies and TV. That's very bot coded. Implement a okay, I think I understand. Um, implement a grid based autorouter. We're gonna do this when I record my video, and it's probably not gonna work. Yeah, the most important thing for people to know for autorouters is A star. You should know A star like the back of your hand. All right, let's copy and paste this in and see if it can do it. So right now, it doesn't do anything, right? There's no lines being drawn. Actually, let's go to a harder problem too for fun. Oh, that one's really hard, but it might be fun to watch. Oh, it's not using our algorithm, my algo. There we go. So no lines. These are all the lines it's supposed to draw. And right now, none of them are being drawn. So we're going to paste in our auto router, and we're going to see what happens. What do I think of Claude? I think Claude is great. I'm using it. Oops. Claude is fantastic. O1 preview does generate better results for this type of work, though. Auto routing data sets. Are you allowed to import that? Solver utils. I think that's a legacy thing. Solver utils. Okay. So let's update the AI guide. From solver utils. And also, I don't think this is being used. We'll call this circuit JSON. That's a little better. And we'll update this guy over here. So looks like this module doesn't use circuit JSON yet. Are you a software engineer? Yes, sir. Or ma'am. Was it not obvious? I'm offended. Okay. So it's complaining about circuit JSON not being used. I don't want to jump into like a huge refactor, but it would be nice to not have this use the old stuff. Little brush up on the repos dependencies is not a terrible thing. So this should now pass. Yeah, okay. We're gonna rename soup to circuit JSON. And a lot of other things are upset, so we're just gonna replace them. Whoops. Okay. Soup was a better variable name. Yo, what up? What up, A Gundy? Long time no see. Excited to see you. Tuesday? It's got to be Tuesday. I'm committing to Tuesday. Element hole shape round or circle. All right, we're going to TS ignore this. I was worried about this bug because we did a little non-backwards compatible refactor. Tomorrow. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't ring a bell. I would know. I would have a flight check-in. Yeah, you might want to double check that. um, let's see what else we got here. For what it's worth, I'm very excited for said event that is happening. So, very exciting. Very exciting. Oh, let's see. Is this gonna break now? We gotta make sure it doesn't break anything. Oh, it's the wrong chat window. No, I think we're good. I think I managed to not break anything. Nice. Cool. Um, what is your favorite type of soup? Um, I like hearty soups. So, meat and potatoes kind of stuff. I also love ramen. I mean, ramen is my favorite if you can call ramen a soup. Big fan of ramen. Array length must be integer of. So it looks like our AI generated is tea a type of soup. I would not count tea. Although tea in a bowl is fine, I would not count tea. A soup must have some type of floating element. I like a stew, I guess is what I was trying to say. I like a good stew. A beef stew. Boba tea is soup. Well, you got me there. No, because it sinks. I said floating. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Destroyed. Wrecked. Um. Hmm. So our AI generated thing didn't work. I think what I'm gonna do. Let's revert it. Let's revert it all the way to the template. I think what I want to do is that might be a little bit too high level of an instruction for the AI. It's a lot to keep track of. I think it would work with O1 preview. So I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to use O1 preview. And two, I'm going to tell it to use the pathfinding module so it doesn't actually have to implement an algorithm. Also, I love how my tabs are 90% of my screen right now. Yeah, it's probably easiest. Floating elements. Yes. That is the Sevi criteria for soup. And as circuit.json has no floating elements, as a PCB does not have floating elements, the variable name was inappropriate. This AI guide is kind of weird too. I wonder if I can move this up a director because it's weird that it gets copied. Although, people could create their own. I'll keep it there. People can create their own AI guide because maybe they want to iterate on their prompts. All right, let's try O1. O1 preview. And we're going to paste in our prompt. We're going to say use the pathfinding module to create a simple autorouter. And then we can use this in our tutorial. It should be able to do this. I've seen it do this before. I've had it create pretty complicated autorouters, or at least work with me to create pretty complicated autorouters. My colleagues at, I don't know, Are they colleagues? But the team at Autopile, I think they're colleagues. Are people from other companies colleagues? They have a really nice auto router they're developing. Let me look at their code too. I haven't seen their code in a while. Their README got pretty good. This is nice. From blah, blah, blah. Looks just like Python. Ah, that's pretty cool. 3.3 volt. Yeah, that's pretty cool. This is cool too. How they generate like block diagrams. Yeah, and a little schematic here. It's a pretty nice looking schematic. I think the thing with schematics, we're getting really obsessed with it. Our schematic viewer is currently offline, but we're getting really, really obsessed with it because we think like you should be able to get like schematics that you could put in a PDF and like show as an engineering document, like really high quality. I think this is almost there in some ways. Like there are probably like little stylistic things I would do, but honestly not too many. This part's great. Little dot. It's not aligned to the grid, so I do wonder why the grid is there. I like it, but if you're going to have a grid, you might want to be aligned to the grid, right? And then the font size is different, but it's pretty close. It's pretty good looking. I like the style of it. I think it could definitely take off that style. But anyway, these guys have a pretty good auto router. It's called Fabric or Fabric. Fabric is a Python library that allows you to design ready-to-order electronics in code. So I don't really, I guess like, I'm not 100% sure I understand Autopile's approach because they have a language, but then they also have Fabric, which is kind of like, maybe this is, I know Matt said he was doing a rewrite, so maybe what they're doing is rewriting to be a Python based solution, kind of like TS Circuit is TypeScript based. Maybe they're going Python based. Very cool. Do they, so it auto routes, right? Am I crazy? I thought it auto routed. The reason I'm so curious about this is I kind of want to benchmark them against, they should be more accurate. But I talked to a bunch of companies at this conference I was just at, and we might do uh, benchmarking for companies too. So that'd be pretty cool if we had kind of like a whole benchmark test thing with different people. But I don't know if I understand how to use it. S expression parser, KiCad. Got a lot in here. Ooh, app. KiCad netlist. I don't know. Maybe I just need to try it out and dive in. But I'm pretty sure it has an auto router. I feel like I'm going crazy. Fabric is kind of cool. It's very similar to the architecture we started working on like 3-ish months ago, the class-based architecture. It's very similar in some ways. F, library F. What is F? Footprint? LED color merge. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I guess the big difference here is like you don't actually get to operate. So the connect makes sense. So you're connecting to battery power. And that's pretty cool because that'll be typed. So I like that. But these seem like mutations, which we don't really do. They're either mutations or you're actually editing the color, but I don't really get the merge thing. Because it sounds like a mutation the way it's being phrased. But kind of interesting. I don't know. I need more code samples. Wonder if I can look at more. I don't know. Oh, they have an examples directory. Maybe they have auto routing in here. Route. Resistor. I guess merge is how you set properties. F.range from center rel. From center relative. I don't know. And then you connect it. I like that API where you connect things. PCB layout has PCB layout defined. PCB routing strategy. Greedy line direct. Topology direct. Oh, interesting. Huh. So they use a graph. When I talk to the guy who writes this, I guess they use a graph for the auto routing. And you can define some tracks here. They use KiCad style layer names, which is a good idea. There's so many acronyms I don't understand. The RT field, F field. Maybe it's RT. What does that mean? Layout type hierarchy level. I wonder if I looked at my code if I would be confused. Like if it's like I wonder how the complexity differs. If this is all the code to route, I mean that's pretty simple. Minimal LED orderable. Exporters. KiCad exporter, export SVG. It's pretty cool. Do you like snakes? I'm decidedly neutral on snakes. JLC PCB DB. Try add JLC PCB pickers. I don't know. My onboarding is also kind of crazy, so. Call time. Oi. All right, let's see here. All right. Let's see if it got the autorouter right. Back on focus. Did it import the pathfinding module? Okay, it's using pathfinding. So let's copy it. Let's paste it, see if it works. It is tough for these things to work first try. Why did it do this again? Did I edit the wrong AI guide? I might have done that. No. Huh. Yeah, circuit JSON. I don't know. Is this one up to date? Oy. I'm just thinking of all the things that'll mess up my little tutorial video. Okay. We might as well keep it the same pattern. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we pasted this guy in. Yeah, I guess I used an old template for this. Darn. That's okay. I don't think it'll be a problem. Theoretically, because we have hot reloading, when I refresh it, should use our new algorithm. Oh, wow. No way. Yeah, no way. My algo. Array length must be a positive integer of a safe magnitude. So this error again? Or do I just need to... Oh, I didn't do it with hot. So let's add hot in there. Okay. I don't think it's working, though. I don't see any lines. Hmm. Also, why am I getting errors? Any circuit element should be fine. Any circuit element, circuit JSON. Any circuit element, circuit JSON. I don't know why I'm getting errors there. Argument of type, blah, 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 is not assignable. What? This should be an array. That's why. Is that right everywhere? All right, cool. Oh, element of length. I think the problem is probably they don't realize that we have everything centered around 0, so there are negative numbers. How do we fix? Wait, no, it's doing this 2 grid X left. Hmm. Yeah, this is kind of a weird error. Or actually, now I'm not getting any errors. I'm not getting anything. It's just not drawing a trace. Let's go to a simpler example. Single trace, number 1. Gosh darn it. I was hoping this would work first try because then it's really easy to give it in a tutorial video. Yo, what up, Shibo? We're doing auto routing algorithm. So right now, this is an auto routing algorithm that was written by an AI in like 5 seconds. Copy Multi, what's up? How's it going? Good to see you guys. And I'm wondering why it does not work. I think I want to take a quick peek at the output. Right now, we just don't see anything. Okay, so we're definitely not returning a route. So why aren't we returning a route? For connections, just log connection real quick. Okay, so we see we have 2 points to connect. So points, connection points to connect. Go through each point. We convert it to a grid point. We run a star, which we're importing from pathfinding. By the way, I'll have to include this in the tutorial, but pathfinding, the library, pathfinding.js, has a lot of visualizations to understand pathfinding. And a star. So you can add obstacles and then you can watch the a star search. Conventionally, how pathfinding algorithms work is they check different grid squares and they look for the optimal, they like check, do a binary check, is it populated or not. So that's conventionally how they work. iJump A star doesn't do that. It computes the optimal next point using intersections. So it's a different approach. But we still use A star. A star is just generally a search algorithm. It's like a fundamental search algorithm. So like use it for everything. Also, A star can be written in like 5 lines of code, so it is worth like trying to understand it a little bit. But no matter what, at the end of the day, you will find yourself understanding A star. It is inevitable. Maybe we're not getting a path. Let's see if we get a path. With our simple little AI autorouter. Find path. Grid clone. I don't know. Let's log all of these. You know, I think the point of the tutorial shouldn't be to create an autorouter from scratch necessarily. It sucks that the AI wasn't able to get it. But we can do a direct line autorouter in like 5 seconds. So maybe we just do that for the tutorial instead of trying to get AI to write it. AI is really good at writing autorouters, but unfortunately, I think we're better off just doing something like this, where we say traces equals this. This is going to be our return traces. Then we're just going to go through each connection. This will get the point across better of what we're trying to do. Points to connect. And then what parameters does this take? PCB trace ID. Route. I might literally be able to put start and end in here. Can I do that? No? Let's do this. Oops. Oh my gosh, my typing is so bad today. Oh. Yeah, we got to give a couple things. We'll say layer, top, route type wire, x, p.x, y, p.y. Okay. Property type is missing. Type trace. PCB trace. Okay. Okay, so this is an example of like a direct line autorouter. We're just routing directly from the start to the end. And that works, right? It's almost literally the same as the white one. And you can see it's throwing errors because we're routing through other paths. So that's a direct line autorouter. There's a version we have in here of called a gridless POI router, which is pretty cool. But it completely doesn't work on a grid at all. And it like finds points of interest where it think it can route, and then it tries to find a path through them. So it's a really cool idea that didn't work out, I would say. But it creates these really weird paths because it's a completely non-gridless approach. And like in this case, it's pretty good. Like, yeah. I would have gone down this route longer, but I found simpler solutions that use a grid to be a little bit better. But it does really well on BGA. Like, it can get through these BGA grids really well because the points of interest are calculated so well. Anyway, that's what we'll do in the tutorial. I'll just rewrite this from scratch here. And I think that's it. We're probably good to record the first video. So I'm going to go into record mode, going to hide the chat from the stream. And then I'll keep this as a backup, maybe. Nah, you know what? I can probably delete this. I don't think I need it. I'll save it in my scratch pad. But yeah, let's delete this whole directory. Let's see. Anything else in the README? You can feed the AI guide.md file into an LLM to help you write or debug your algorithm. Cool. Okay, let's do it. Hopefully I don't have to look at this while I'm recording the tutorial video, but yeah, okay. We'll start empty. Welcome. This is the part 1 of the auto routing tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to go over how to create an auto routing algorithm. So first of all, the auto routing repo has a big README. It's full of lots of details. It has a table of contents and lots of stuff to get you started. Also, like just to give you a sense of where we're going, you can view the auto routing data set online. Just select the data set. Let's select the keyboards data set, for example, and it starts us out with a data set with the layout for a single keyboard, and we can see how different auto routers perform. So if I scroll in here on the right side, the left side is the unrouted version and the right side is the routed version. You can see all these little lines. That's the auto router drawing lines, and that's with the simple grid approach. Our state-of-the-art auto router at the time we're recording this video is the InfGrid iJump A-Star multi-margin. So if you click that, that's the one that ships with TS Circuit. If you zoom in, you can see how that auto router is doing. And the online viewer doesn't go through too many data sets because it doesn't do the rendering in your browser. It actually does it on a back end. And so we pre-render all of these. But you can see how it performs with multiple keys. And then when we go locally, you can see how it performs with lots and lots of keys. A couple other things about the auto routing dataset viewer. We can see, we can select the algorithm, we can see the solution, we can see how much time the solution took, and we can see if ultimately it was right or wrong. And then if we go into the viewer and we click errors, we can see why. So in this case, something wasn't connected. So that's kind of how we use the viewer. There's a bunch of data sets we can go through, but let's jump in. How do you actually create an auto router? So I've just opened up the auto routing repo. Okay, I've just opened up the auto routing repo into my IDE. And the first thing we're gonna do if we wanna create, okay, before we do anything, let's make sure we can run this project. So to do that, we just do bun run start, and then it will start a terminal at localhost 3080 where you can select a data set and see all those auto routers. So definitely make sure that works before you go creating an algorithm. You want to be able to know how you can click on and go through all of these auto routers. You might want to reference their code. You might want to even log inside their code. So that's going to be pretty important. Okay, so let's get started creating our own algorithm. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the algos directory. This is where all the algorithms are in the algos directory. Actually, I'll close the terminal for a second. So in this algos directory are all of the algorithms we have, and there's an algorithm template.ts. If we click on this, we have a couple files, okay? So the AI guide, this is a markdown document that explains everything in this directory to AI so that it can try to implement an auto router. You can use this while you're working with LLMs so that they understand everything. So it has all the types and stuff like that. So sometimes an LLM will be able to implement an auto router for you like this. Sometimes it might not work, but that's what that's there for. We have a benchmark file. So if you run this file, it will benchmark your algorithm for you. It'll import it and benchmark it. We have an index file. This is where we actually implement our algorithm, and then we have a server file, and this is your dev server. So when you run this file, we're gonna copy this directory, but when you run this file, it'll actually help. It'll give you a website where you can debug your auto router. So let's copy out that directory. I'm gonna rename it to my new algorithm. and then let's jump in, and we're, kind of ready to start our algorithm. But first, let's run the dev server. So I'm going to run bun run hot, and that'll allow us to change the code and refresh the page to rerun our autorouter. Algos / my new algorithm, whatever you name the directory, / server.ts. Okay, that starts a server, and then you can see in the drop-down menu we have my algo. So whatever you decide to call your algorithm, that name should pop up there, and then I can click keyboards or whatever data set. Actually, for people getting started, I would always recommend clicking single trace and going to the first sample. It's just two 0402 resistors that need to be connected by a wire. So again, on the left side, this thing called the rat's nest is showing you how things should be connected. You can also click on the rat's nest over here if you want to see it. But anyway, this is really the first problem you want to solve. We just want to connect these two squares together. So let's go to our autorouter, and what we're going to implement is a direct line autorouter. So it's the simplest autorouter. We're going to ignore all obstacles. We'll go right through them. So it's not going to work in many cases, and we're going to implement that. So we'll start with our array of traces. So what we return from this autoroute function is an array of traces, of lines, right? So we're going to return that array of traces, and then we're going to go through the input. So if you click on this file, you can see the type for simple route JSON. This is also given to the AI. So the input to an autorouter is the number of layers we have to work with, the minimum trace width, the number of obstacles, which have a width and a height. So we can click on obstacle and see what they're made of. They have a center, a width, and a height. And then we have an array of connections. And connections can take a couple forms, but they basically always have points to connect and a bunch of different points. And then we also have the bounds. What's the furthest point on the X position to the left and to the right. So with that, let's go through each of the connections in our input. So we're going to go through each of the connections in our input. I'm going to let AI autocomplete some of this. It autocompleted it wrong though, but we will be creating a trace. So we're going to go through each connection, and in each connection is our points to connect. So we're going to extract that out, points to connect, and then we're going to create a trace. So for most data sets, points to connect is always going to have just a start and an end. And I recommend everybody starts with just that, because most data sets just have a start and an end. We don't make it complicated and have multiple points in there. And data sets are in the future going to be specially marked when they do have more than that, because it's so much easier to develop when you can just work with a point, start and end. So start and end, this would be a start and this would be an end. Okay, so points to connect, it's this point and this point, right? So now let's fill in the trace. PCB trace ID, this doesn't matter. You can set it to an empty string. For type, we need to put in PCB trace. And then for route, all we're going to do is do 2 points. We can say start and end, and then we can actually map this to a proper PCB trace point. So there's a couple things required there. Route type, we're going to select wire. This is kind of like the default thing when you're getting started that you want to do. We're just going to put everything on the top layer. Then we'll do PCB X, Y, with whatever. So there's other ways to kind of configure this to do more complicated things. But generally speaking, this is a really great place to start. You might want to start with this code exactly, the direct trace autorouter. Okay. Then we can just go over here, refresh our page, and we can see we're drawing a trace. Okay, so that's it. Like, we're good to go. And we can run this against any problem in the data set now, and we can see we're getting a lot of these wrong. This method does not work very much. We can go to the multi-trace data set. So the single trace data set is always just a single trace. When you feel like your algorithm is good enough, you can go to the multi-trace data set. You can start working with those and see if how many of those you get right. There's a lot of different data sets for testing different things, and I'll go over the different data sets, why we make different data sets. It's to test different conditions in the next video. But you can see, things are overlapping. We really need to take into account those obstacles. But regardless, let's run a benchmark and see how well we did on this algorithm. So I'm going to go back to my terminal. I'm going to kill my dev server, and then I'm going to run bun run algos my new algorithm / benchmark.ts. Okay. And now what it's doing is it's running, it's basically doing the same thing in that web view, but it's doing it against every single file, okay, or every single sample in our data set. And we can see our completion. So 14% completion, average time, 10 microseconds or 70 microseconds. So very, very fast, 0.07 milliseconds. But not a very high completion or accuracy. Actually, surprisingly high completion for some of these, but not very good. You can run the benchmarks for every single algorithm or individual algorithms just by running. Like if you want to see our state of the art results, you could run bun run algo slash, and then we could just look for that multi-margin iJump A star and run benchmark, and you'll see it performs much better. Because these are more complicated autorouters, they do take a little bit longer to run, and there's a bunch of different things you can work on. Instead of creating a new autorouter, you can try to optimize an existing one. You can also introduce your optimized version as a new autorouter so that it's distinct. We don't mind having some duplicated code here and there. It's not a problem. We just want to find the best algorithms. And usually how it goes is we build up an algorithm for a while, and then we actually have to rewrite it because it got too big, and we know how it's going to work now. We're not experimenting with as much. So we have a better idea of how it should structurally be put together in our head. So we should get the results for the multi-margin iJump. And you can see about 100% on single trace, 100% on distant single trace. On traces, it doesn't do that well. And on keyboards, it doesn't do that well at 5%. Yeah, I think that's about it for the tutorial. So good luck creating an autorouter. Love to see the PRs. There's a bunch of stuff I didn't talk about. I didn't talk about how to create a data set. So I'll do that in a future video. And I didn't talk about the specifics of an algorithm, which is stuff like A star. How does that work? How can I debug an autorouter? Actually, debugging an autorouter is important enough where I will talk about it very quickly. So when you're developing an autorouter, you do really want to be able to debug it each step of the way because it's so complicated. So to debug an autorouter, we have to turn on a debug mode. I'm going to find the section in the README for this because it is, so we need to export debug autorouting dataset star. Okay, so I'm going to paste this into my terminal, and what this will do is turn on debugging for my autorouter. It's going to, in many cases, slow down the autorouter because it's outputting debug information, but it's going to make it so that I can see a lot more. So I'm going to run our state-of-the-art autorouter with that debugging mode enabled. If I can spell the name of the directory correctly. Let me see what's going on here. Does it not have a server file on this one? This one doesn't have a server file. Oh, some of these are older and organized maybe a little bit differently. I wonder if it's just, I think a multi-layer iJump might actually be the state of the art. Multi-layer iJump, that sounds right. Okay. I think this is the right one. So we're going to run this one. Multi-layer iJump. And we're going to run the server. And remember, we have our debug mode on. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm going crazy. Multi-layer iJump. This one doesn't have a server either. I think for some of these, they don't have servers because we've been debugging with just the regular bun start. Yeah, I guess we can just run bun start then. So technically these kind of do the same things, but it's running all the built-in. So for whatever reason, we don't have a server in there. It's 5 lines, so it's not very difficult to add. But let me show you what the debug view looks like. So let's go to our, I wonder, does it, it's not in this one. Let's see. Multi-layer iJump, I guess. Right, okay. So this auto router uses debug mode. So when you're in debug mode, you can go through each iteration of the auto router. And if we zoom in, you can see these points are kind of labeled, and these are custom set by the author of the auto router to help them debug. So they're like, okay, this is X0. We have 1, 2. I think these are candidates. So we're saying 1, 2, 0. So we've got some candidates for where we go next. Looks like that's another candidate, 3. And what authors will do a lot of time is make sure they understand every single thing that the auto router is going to do. I guess it's just connecting this bad and that bad. So that was a pretty easy one. Actually, yeah, it connected that one immediately. So now it's working over here. Okay. And it's saying, okay, I could go here. I could go here. Let's see what it does. We can literally just step through and try to understand every phase of it. Okay, it looks like it went down. I clearly do not remember how these numbers worked. And so this is now X0. I think the inner numbers correspond to what is most likely to go next from this point. So I don't know. Does it try to go over here? Yeah, it looks like it tries to go over here. I think 0 means it is the next best point. So it's going to go there. If I zoom in again, so that 0 point became the new X0. This one is 0. So you can kind of see how your auto router is working. In our case with iJump A*, we try to compute with intersections the optimal next jumping point. And so it's really important for this one. When you're doing grid-based solutions, you might want something like a heat map and stuff like that. You can do a lot of different things with the debug view. But I'm going to refer you to actually look at the other auto routers to see how that debug view works. But you basically just return debug data, which is in the form of fabrication notes. So you just return additional objects, not just the traces. You also return debug objects. Those are pretty simple to use, but I'll refer you to the other auto routers for now to make this video not too long. But that's how you could debug it when you start getting into complicated stuff. And I would recommend, as soon as you feel confused, like you don't know what your auto router is doing, start to look into the debug stuff, because it is hard to debug these algorithms, especially when they are thousands of iterations long. So that's it for the auto routing repo. Good luck making your auto router. It's pretty tricky, but it's very rewarding when it works. And of course, if it's in TypeScript, we'd love to integrate it into TS Circuit. All right, that's the recording. I had a silent section and I had a mistake, so I got to edit that out. Let's do some editing. So I just found this new tool called Recut. I'm going to try to use it. So I had never heard of this. It does one thing and one thing well, which is remove silent portions. But I think I can also use it to cut the one section I had where I kind of spoke and then was like, oh, I don't want to speak. So let's see. So this is probably my recording here. The auto routing tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to go over, in this case,
yeah, that's
something
it.
wasn't
That's the
connected.
section.
Okay, cool. So that's kind of how we use the viewer. There's a bunch of data sets we can go through, but let's jump in. Is it going to let me remove this guy? This is what I want to know. I really want to kill that section. Oh. I see I can select things. So it's almost like delete. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is a pretty cool tool. Recut is in trial mode. You only have 4 exports left. Understood. Oh, whoops. I probably will buy this. It's really solid. Super solid. We'll call it auto routing tutorial. So this is a 15-minute tutorial video without silence. Sometimes it freaks me out. I'm recording movie length levels of content, but without the the consistent engagement material of a movie. But you do what you got to do. I'm looking forward to seeing people's wacky auto routers. I'd like to see more conventional auto routers too. Like I did a little bit of conventional routing and I was like, I really don't like how slow this is, and so I kind of like got out of it. I mean, to be clear, I was doing conventional auto routing for like 2 months, and then I was like, this is a lot. So like I feel like I gave it a good go. But I do want to go back to it just like with a lot more rigor. Because with conventional auto routing, where you kind of can do an equation on each point, like you don't have to compute optimal intersections or whatever. You get to do like slightly smarter things. Like that's where curved traces can kind of come into play, because you can find optimal paths through like kind of like exploring a little bit differently. So yeah, I think it'd be cool. Everyone who looks at the problem is like, I'm gonna solve this. You know, people are quite bullish that they'll be able to solve it right away, and I'm like, I don't know. Pretty tough. Rohit, what's going on? What am I creating today? I guess I can turn this back on. I just made an auto routing tutorial. So auto routers are the things that draw traces on a circuit board, which is a wire. So how circuits work is they print wires on a board, essentially. Printed circuit board wires. So the green thing on a circuit board. I could probably show some traces. So see how there's like a different color, like a lighter green lines? Those are traces, and they're essentially just printed wires. So that's how a circuit board works. So we automatically route them. And now I'm just doing boring logistic stuff like uploading to YouTube. I don't want to spend too long on the auto router today. I think it takes a while to get into. So I want to set people up to get into it, but like I can't go back in the short term. It's very time consuming. I will go back to implement 4-layer boards, which I need to do. How to create an auto router. Keep that title super simple. Sevi goes over how, I guess this is all PC to show. Sevi goes over how to create an auto routing board using the TS Circuit auto routing dataset. And I'll link to the repo. Yeah, seems fine. I wonder what thumbnail YouTube will pick. I don't know if I care. We're just going to go right to publish. Hopefully they pick a good thumbnail, you know? Win some, you lose some. I don't understand a single thing. This thing looks seriously boring. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of boring stuff, and together it makes something cool. Like the goal is, on snippets, you can say, oh, I want to make a flashlight. I want to like make a flashlight from scratch. And then you click this, and it literally generates like the code, which turns into a physical circuit board, although I kind of doubt this 3D preview will work. I just created an issue today to create battery because it keeps thinking battery exists, and it makes sense, but it doesn't exist. So I got to remove the battery. But we don't have battery yet. Also, switch. Why doesn't it have PCBX? That's weird. Anyway, is this going to generate now? Error. Unsupported component type switch. Okay, so we don't support switches either. We also need to add support for switch. Can I find port selector? BAT. Okay. Hold on, let me just fix it. Battery negative. Okay. We're going to essentially remove all of our traces. But anyway, you type that in and theoretically you could get a battery, although I just stripped this circuit of everything. You know, if you think about it, if a battery doesn't have a switch, I guess that's an LED. So that's the LED part of the battery. Although I don't know about that component. I think you would need a specialized component for a battery. So, or for a flashlight. I tried snippets the other day. It took me to test user. What did you click? Because test user is if you run it locally. Were you running it locally? Locally the default user is test user. But if you got to test user, that's interesting. Minecraft. You know, Rohi, that is a bold comment. That is a bold comment that I do not understand at all. Website, and I signed in. All right, let's see if test user somehow leaked into like the main code. Wait a second. What's this? Set session test user. Yeah, but that's only if you're not using the fake API. So that's for the fake API. Test user. Is using fake API. Well, maybe is using fake API. Vite use fake API. Even right now, it's taking me to test user. Oh, shit. No, you're right. What the heck, man? Are you also streaming elsewhere? Yeah, if you look at the stream in the bottom left, you can see I stream to 3 platforms. I should abuse it. Hey, man, do what you got to do. I mean, I have I know you're joking, but like, I'm curious how long it takes, to some extent, because like I've put out like honey pots, or like effectively honey pots, like dev servers that I wasn't doing anything on, or I've had people put out dev servers that they weren't doing anything on that got hacked after like, I don't know, 2 weeks or something. So I'm curious, like, would somebody scan for this? It's like too much effort. Couldn't render anything. An error occurred when generating the response. Did you actually manage to log in somehow? Because now it seems like I can't log in. Yeah, if you okay, so that means that means your sign in didn't work because something's borked. I had no idea something was borked. I was using this all yesterday, and because I was already signed in, like I didn't know. But we're deploying a new version right now. I just took a guess that the bug was it thinks it's running locally when it's not. So we'll see. There was kind of a bad environment variable check, so we'll see if that fixes it. Because like in the code, it's pretty. It says if I am not using the fake API, redirect to GitHub. Oh, you know what? It does come back to the. Hold on. Yeah, then it goes to the authorized page. Oh, I did lazy program this though. I was very, very lazy at the time of programming. Set session null. Sign up does the same logic. Probably shouldn't have duplicated code. But I don't know. We'll see if it's fixed. Vercel's deploying. Okay, we're deployed, so let's see if we can get in now. Oh my gosh, what is going on? I'm going to check my environment variable setup. Maybe somebody edited it. I just don't see how this could break. I don't know. All right, environment variables. Everything looks fine. So it's not the environment variables. Mm. Hmm. Do I have like an old cached version? Erg. What is going on? If not, is using fake API. Is using fake API returns use fake API equal to true, which should not be true on production. Hmm. If not, is using fake API. And this returns if you are. Yeah, I don't know. Should redirect to GitHub, and then GitHub redirects back to us. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I think there's an opportunity for clarity here, perhaps. So let's do this. If we are using the fake API, we're going to simplify the code a little bit, and then we're going to say fake login. We'll even say fake test user login. And otherwise, we'll do the normal login. So that simplifies our code. Little bit less redundant code. Still a little bit of repeats. But also we'll know if that Boolean on production, like, because I could just log and then send it to prod, and I don't love that. I don't mind logging on prod, but I don't like the long loop when you're debugging like that. I might have to key this. I'm not sure. Actually, let's run this locally real quick. Bun run start. Okay, sign out, fake test user login. Okay, so that works. Now I'm kind of curious, what happens if I nuke my environment file or I move it? So we're going to move .env.env.old, which I hope, I don't want to accidentally pull that up or something. So let me make sure that's in the get ignore properly. Yeah, it's not. .env star. Okay. So we nuked it. Now let's do bun run start and see what happens. Okay, so that is the production website. Yeah, it's still showing. What the heck? Vite config. Okay, here's my theory. Is this Vite config is being used to build by Vercel. So we need to see and not inside Vercel build. Oh my gosh. Is that a thing? Vercel environment variables, technically called system environment variables. Yeah, Vercel. Okay. Okay. I think that's good. And we're not Vercel. Wait a second. That doesn't actually... Because I was seeing this locally, right? Yeah, so it can't be that. Although that's not a bad check, but yeah, this is still showing up even locally. Does it say it's using the fake snippets API? Using fake snippets API. Snippets, if not process. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's because I don't have the snippets API URL. Okay. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think this will work. Um, handle Vercel builds. Good catch to imposter. Thank you for helping me fix my service. I guess I would have realized that as soon as I signed out and signed in, or somebody told me, but it sucks because probably people were trying that while it was at the conference. I feel like, yeah, this is a little jank, but this is a little bit jank. How these environment variables work. I don't know how I feel about it, but whatever. Whatever. I also just noticed another bug that's kind of bothering me. It keeps asking for account balance, I think, even when you're not logged in. So we should just say enabled only when you're logged in. Oh, whoops. Is logged in is equal to use global store state s.session boolean. Nice. Okay, so just fix a bunch of 401s. Fix a bunch of 401s. Cool. So on snippets, if it updates, yeah, there we go. Oh, it hasn't updated yet. Hopefully. Let's see if handle Vercel builds. That should be live. I'm going to lose my mind. There we go. Although it looks like the GitHub link is broke. What is going on in the world where like all of this suddenly breaks? I feel like this code didn't change. Also, the login and sign up buttons are now like this is when you test on prod, you get this kind of thing. I don't know if we need space between the buttons. I think, or SpaceX 2, I guess. I don't know. Maybe we should just fragment this. I was worried about fragmenting because I think they need a key if I fragment. It's not saying anything. So we'll just do a fragment. That'll work better for styling. And then snippets base API URL / internal OAuth authorize. So we get undefined here. Vite snippets API URL. So my guess is this isn't set on Vercel. I don't know how did I get logged in the first place? Obviously, some things have happened that broke things, and the lack of testing has made the problems worse. All right. Also, I left the auto-routing dataset problem with like a million type issues because I started a migration I didn't finish, so I should run in there and fix those as well. Oh no, Vite snippets API URL is totally set. It's totally set. Oh, interesting. This line is kind of killing it. Wow. Jeez. So really we want to say, is this or... Yeah. Header styling and Vercel build fix. Let's jump over. While this is deploying, I want to jump over to the auto-routing dataset. I'm pretty sure I left this repo with something like 1 million type errors. Oops, this repo. Bunax, TSC, no emit. It's going to be a lot. They're all going to be basically the same thing. I could probably do a Control F style refactor. Run benchmark, benchmark options, problem solver, any soup element. So anywhere we see any soup element, it needs to be refactored to any circuit element and imported from circuit.json. Then we delete that. It's probably going to be all the same issue. Run benchmark auto route. Okay, so this one has to do with this accepting the wrong input. Yeah, it's tricky. This is a tricky automated refactor here. I could teach an AI to do this. I've done it before. And then have it do all the stuff, but... I don't know what the issue is here. This is the problem with Zod, is it throws really janky errors. Doesn't like it for some reason. I think it has to do with this, the ID. Yeah, okay. It's just migrating this to the latest version of the JSON objects. Solution has a problem with solution. We could also, yeah, do a little bit more full of migration here. Yeah, remove that. Okay. Just kind of click randomly. Input circuit JSON. Where's that coming from? Looks like core is out of date. Might accidentally end up breaking some stuff. Too big of an update. Let's check back up on snippets here. See if we can log in on snippets. Nice. All right, login is working now. Oh, that sucks. It was so broken for so long. The other thing I want to do is, now that the YouTube video is published, so let's add a link to the auto routing dataset readme. The auto routing tutorial. Nice. Okay. What is there a way to see what thumbnail it picked? Whatever. Okay, YouTube, create image thumbnail. I feel like Canva is going to make me sign up. feel like this might... I don't want to sign up for anything. I definitely found a website that did this. All right, what the heck is going on? YouTube create play button over image. There we go. Ooh, that looks pretty good. This is from ClickFunnels? Damn. All right. But we do have to give it our own image, which is pretty annoying. The auto routing tutorial in this getting a trace. So we're going to go, okay. And now what it's doing, wait, what the running, heck? It's basically doing the same thing in that web view, but it's doing it against recut totally messed up this video. Always have points to connect. Oh, wow. Player, then we'll do PCB X, Y. Either I'm crazy or whatever. So there's microseconds or 70 video is totally messed up. Ooh. Or whoops, didn't mean to download it. Yeah, remove from downloads. We need to take that offline. Dang, recut. Not what I expected. Oh, how do I YouTube Studio? Delete forever. Okay. I'll have to figure that out in a second. I can open up DaVinci to cut that video. I hope it didn't record like that from OBS. If it did, I'll have to pull from the live stream. All right. One issue fixed there. Man, lots going on. Auto routing data set. Can we fix... Where does this come from? This comes from the circuit JSON to connectivity map. So let's update that module. That's just such a long module name. Circuit JSON to connectivity map. All right, we're gonna try to update this. Okay, so hopefully that fixes the type issue. Nice. All right, let's see where we're at. If I am at 15, I'm very happy. 15 type errors. How many am I at? 56, it went up. I wonder if I can do a quick find and replace here to fix the most basic case. Any soup element from tscircuit/soup, and we'll just replace that with any circuit element. Or no, we have to do any soup. Maybe we could do... Could do that. I think that works. Okay, let's see if I made it worse. $31, okay. Not great, not bad. Auto router. I don't know if I understand this one. All right, let's close some stuff. I'm too confused. Infinite grid A star, get debug SVG. Okay. Debug solutions. For some reason, I guess the type of debug solutions, but I don't know where that type is defined. But it looks like it's in here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That'll probably knock out a bunch. Let's see. $30. Insane. All right. That looks like a regular old. Yeah, that looks like just a straight up bug. How did that happen? King cat. I don't know. I don't want to change things too much, but that looks like a bug. It was concatting not an array. Okay, what's the issue here? Let's give the old AI fix. I think it's just missing an ID. Yeah, there we go. It's going to be 29. I think I only fixed one. Yeah, 29. Okay. Cursor's AI kind of remembers some stuff. Yep. Nice. All right, Cursor is definitely helping with that refactor. Gotta love that feature of Cursor. For dumb stuff, amazing. Saying I should as any this. Do I have to? I don't think I have to. Oh wait, this one is already refactored. Okay. I don't know. That one was already refactored. Normalized solution solver problem soup. Solver. Oops. Okay, whatever. There are a lot of bugs in this one, so I'm kind of curious. Any soup element, is that the issue? Okay, and then we'll just replace all these with any circuit element. All right, boom, that's 11 right there. All right, ooh, we got, what's this guy? Still doesn't like passing in problem soup. JSON parse request JSON. Solver. Thing is, I don't know the type of solver. App context, solver, problem solver, any circuit element. That one should be good. I don't know, seems okay. I don't know what's going on there. Does it not like it because this is like type unknown or something? I don't even think it's this. Yeah, it's the what the solver returns. I think that one might actually be in any cast. What's going on here? Just need an ID. I think this repo might have had type issues. Either that or it hasn't been updated in a really long time. Okay. PCB errors. We don't like the PCB errors. Oh, wow, there's a lot in here. Oh, that's the, yeah, that's actually a, wow, this must be old. TS circuit built in. We can just remove this guy. It's not accurate to what we actually do anymore. TS circuit built in. Do we have a better server TS file we can use for the example dev server to run? Could do. Yeah, you can do it with, let's say, infinite grid A star. Doesn't simple grid have one? Simple grid? I feel like simple grid is a good place to start. Simple grid. All right. Simple grid, and hopefully this has a server. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Built-in solvers. Do we have? Okay, we don't use it. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we're pretty good. Let's go back. Look for more type issues. Okay, so it imports the TS circuit built-in solver from this directory inside the server entry point. Let's not do that. Let's import the simple grid instead. Simple grid solver. Sure. Okay, that we're actually gonna have to do a quick test for. So let's run the server. Make sure we didn't break anything. So this is what happens if you actually don't know what scenario it's used, but nothing's broken, so good enough. It's like some default for some case. Soup King Cat results. Oh, this is in the testing. Interesting. What is it complaining about? Soup.kingcat. What is soup? Keyboard generator get example. So maybe in the get example function here. Yeah. But it's using the circuit element. Oh, the module circuit to SVG is wrong. Okay, this is where we might start getting into trouble because this dependency update will affect our tests. Snapshot does not match. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna fix that one last. More type checking. How could you do this in JavaScript? You couldn't. You couldn't. You wouldn't have some of these issues too, but like without TypeScript, this would be impossible. Transform PCB elements. Aggregate circuit JSON. I don't know if I fixed it, maybe. Benchmark run checks. This one is also refactored already, so I don't really know what's going on. Source trace, blah, blah, blah. TS circuit checks doesn't use. We're going to have to update this guy. Use circuit JSON. Refactor to use circuit JSON. Okay.
I'm going to post this one in the Discord. Issue could use a hand with. Oh, I'm getting some DMs too. Okay, let's see. So that one we're going to anycast for now. Because we don't want to do the refactor right now. No emits. Did we do it? Run checks, infinite grid. I think I will anycast this too because I don't know what's going on here. It might, yeah, I just don't know what's going on there. This is complaining too. I don't know. Oh, right, because it's, yeah, that makes sense. Basically, the input and the output of that module is messed up until it's refactored. Get debug SVG. Transform PCB elements must be returning the wrong thing. Oh, Zod errors. They're so bad. Okay. Oh, that's why you can't do types derived on Zod. We're fixing this slowly. We're almost, I would say we're almost ready to rewrite our code to not be so Zod dependent for type errors. And then we're going to remove my new algorithm. Oops, we don't want to commit that. Okay. Update deps and types. Very maintenance task. I'm just doing one last check to make sure we didn't break anything. I think we're okay. Multi-layer eye jump. Cool. Okay. Generator for undefined. Yeah, that makes sense. It's actually a better error than what we sent to the browser. Okay. Cool. So we fixed the types. The tests are broken now. So to fix these, we have to do export, bun, update, snapshots equals 1, bun test. Okay, so now we've got new versions of these files. I can't view the diff very easily locally, but I can view it pretty easily on GitHub. So update snapshots, and then we'll look at this commit on GitHub. I was hoping it would give me the link to the PR, but it didn't. So we got to find it. Got to go trudging. I think it's because I changed the name of the repo. So it's like a GitHub bug. Oh, somebody already did this update to circuit.json. I didn't even notice. Well, that was 2 weeks ago, and a lot of stuff has changed. So this is probably slightly better. Sorry, Shibo. I don't know how I didn't see your PR. Looks like the lines changed to similar, though. He might have done a better job, to be honest. But I have other changes in here. I'm going to be very, very lazy and unfair and prioritize my PR. Bun test should... Oh, yeah, it would pass now. Yeah. Okay, update snapshots. Let's take a look. Deleted, added. Looks even better. Yeah, looks great. Cool. Cool. This is something I forgot to mention for people building autorouters is you can do tests. I completely forgot to mention that you can write tests as you do an autorouter. It's kind of important. Yeah, sometimes that does make life easier to have some tests. I wonder, since I'm re-editing the video, maybe I could do a short shout out for testing. So this is a test file. And then the snapshot for this will be multi-layer SVG something. Keyboard 2. And I can preview. And hope, can I zoom in enough where I don't need to open anything? Oh, this SVG viewer is so bad. Oh, it's so bad, so bad. This isn't a very good test though, because this just shows the result. Multi-layer iJump, single layer test.tx. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. And then, yeah, when I hop between these, I can... It is kind of hard to see without zooming in this guy. And there's not a really great way for me to zoom in. Also, can I move these over here? Oh, it's so bad. Oh, this SVG viewer sucks so much. Okay. Oh, it's so bad. I might make a VS Code SVG viewer. I'm so annoyed by these. All right. Oh, can I drag to zoom in? There's just no way for me to zoom in. I hate it. Oh, look at that. If you hit fit, it will give you a zoom in. But now, for some reason, my cursor is messed up. Is it because I pressed this button? Unpress. Okay. Wow. Thanks. I hate it. All right. All right, let's record a quick snippet for the video I'm going to edit. Sometimes, no, I don't like that intro. Something I forgot to mention in the last video is that you can write tests for your autorouter, and I would highly, highly recommend this, especially as you get into a more complex autorouter. So there are two types of tests you can do. They're both snapshot tests. One is to preserve the quality of your autorouter, so to make sure that nobody breaks it, or if somebody changes it, you know exactly how it was changed. And that is just a simple snapshot test. So here's an example, multi-layer keyboard 2. We load in one of the seed files. We run our autorouter against it, and then we do circuit JSON to PCB SVG, and we do a snapshot test. And you can see that it generates this SVG, and if anybody changes this in a pull request, you'll know, you'll be able to see it, inspect it, etc. The second type of test, you use this function called get debug SVG, and this is actually extremely useful for debugging. It looks like this, and you can look at each iteration of your autorouter. So extremely, extremely useful for debugging. I would highly recommend this. This is kind of a new feature, and especially if you're doing an iterations-based autorouter, not a grid-based autorouter, this is really the best approach. So would recommend these two techniques. Okay, cool. Good enough. Now let's do some editing. My computer's kind of slowing down because I think I'm doing too much, but whatever. Video editing while streaming, not a combo, not a good combo. Okay. OBS recordings. So we've got this one. And then we've got this one. Drag it in. So this one we've got to cut up a little bit. It's going to be a silent section. The silent section is so long that we can probably observe it from the timeline. Ooh, but the audio is really bad. Okay. it's really low, so I don't know if I'll be able to even see it on the timeline. Maybe I can. Yeah, I can still see it. So it's this kind of section here. So let's do a crop of that section. If I can remember how to use this tool. Blade edit mode, I believe that's correct. So we're gonna do one there, one there, and get rid of that section. Okay, cool. The auto routing tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to go over how to create an auto routing algorithm in autorouter. Okay, there's a little bit of tomfoolery there, so let's cut out some of this part with no audio. I don't know why this wave is so small. I think I can increase it this way. Maybe I do that. So what did I increase it to? 15? 15. Okay. In autorouter. Now we can use the blade tool, get in here, cut this guy up a little bit. Oh. Cool. I don't know, man. I've never had that issue with Recut before, which sucks because I really like that program. File, okay, or every single. I'm gonna do the same things, but it's running all the built-in. So for whatever reason, we don't have a server in there. It's 5 lines, so it's not very difficult to add. But if I zoom in again, for you, okay, that's perfect. Let's add that little clip at the end there. Oh, I already imported it. So, whoa. Oh. Okay, cool. And we're going to want to increase this audio similarly. There we go. Okay. So make sure that as you feel confused, like you don't know what your autorouter is doing, start to look into the debug stuff because it is hard to debug these algorithms. I highly recommend this, especially the autorouting repo. Good luck making your autorouter. It's pretty tricky, but it's very rewarding when it works. And of course, if it's in TypeScript, we'd love to integrate it into TS Circuit. Highly recommend this, especially as you get into a more complex autorouter. So there are 2 types. Okay, that is a little bit of a weird cut because it cut out my intro. Highly recommend this, especially as you get into a more complex autorouter. So there are 2 types of tests you can do. Yeah, I cut out my intro, so it kind of sounds weird. Okay, so I'm editing this video and I have a little recommendation. We actually have a really good way to test autorouters, so I'm going to get into that right now. Oops. Okay, that's my clip library. Make TypeScript, we'd love to integrate it into TS Circuit. Okay, so I'm editing this video and I have a little recommendation. We actually have a really good way to test autorouters, so I'm going to get into that. All right. Let's see how that works. TS Circuit. Okay, so I'm editing this video and I have a little recommendation. We actually have a really good way to test autorouters, so I'm going to get into that right now. I highly recommend this, especially as you get into a more complex autorouter. So there are 2 types of tests you can do. They're both snapshot tests. One is to preserve the quality of your autorouter, so to make sure that nobody breaks it, or if somebody changes it, you know exactly how it was changed. And that is just a simple snapshot test. So here's an example, multi-layer keyboard 2. We load in one of the seed files. We run our, okay. Good enough. Let's do audio tweaks. But I'll refer you to the other autorouters for now to make this video not too long. But that's how you could debug it when you start getting into complicated stuff. And I would recommend, as soon as you feel confused, like you don't know what your autorouter is doing, start to look into the debug stuff, because it is hard to debug these algorithms, especially when they are thousands of iterations long. So that's it for the autorouting repo. Good luck making your autorouter. It's pretty tricky, but it's very rewarding when it works. And of course, if it's in TypeScript, we'd love to integrate it into TS-Circuit. Okay, so I'm editing this video, and I have a little recommendation. We actually have a really good way to test autorouters, so I'm going to get into that right now. I highly recommend this, especially as you get into a more complex autorouter. So there are two types of tests you can do. They're both snapshot tests. One is to preserve the quality of your autorouter, so to make sure that nobody breaks it, or if somebody changes it, you know exactly how it was changed. And that is just a simple snapshot test. So here's an example: multi-layer keyboard 2. We load in one of the seed files, we run our autorouter against it, and then we do circuit J. Hey, what up, Walid? Or Walid. All right, let's export this guy. I have no idea if my computer can handle streaming and exporting at the same time, but auto routing tutorial. Iteration 2, as opposed to part 2, which is going to be a different thing. Yeah, and they even have this feature where you upload directly to YouTube. That might kill my that might kill me though while I'm streaming. So I think I will probably render this out. Yeah, we could try it. Let's see if it destroys the live stream. You guys will have to tell me. I don't know. I'm, from my perspective, I have no idea. I wonder if this auto running PR is going to merge. Looks like it. Fixed in 81. Cool. Let's see. What do we want to jump into? I'm almost done with some work on snippets, but it's almost breakfast time too, and I got to render and upload this. So I think what I'll do, I will cut stream for now. Maybe I go online later. Tomorrow there will be no streaming. I'm doing stuff. So I might come online. We'll see. But thanks for joining, if you join. And